Deep beneath the Vatican, far below the marble floors of St. Peter's Basilica, beings are said to be locked away, entities that are neither divine nor demonic. They are angels, but not the kind you see in paintings. According to a chilling modern myth that refuses to die, these are the angels the Church itself is afraid of. But why would the Vatican ever imprison an angel? The story says the answer isn't about some great evil, but about a forbidden act of compassion, a compassion so powerful it threatened to bring the foundations of the Church crumbling down. This is the legend they supposedly tried to bury, the story of a celestial being chained for a truth the world was never meant to learn. The story starts in whispers, a piece of internet folklore that has taken on a life of its own. It claims that somewhere in the deepest unexplored levels of the Vatican necropolis, an angel is held in chains. This isn't Lucifer. The legend speaks of a different kind of being entirely, one whose only crime was loving humanity. According to these tales, the proof is found in cryptic clues supposedly left by Renaissance clergy, men torn between their duty and a terrifying secret. The myth talks about hidden papal decrees and strange Latin phrases carved in the catacombs like Angelus subterrum, the angel beneath the earth, meant not as prayers but as warnings. It's important to know that these inscriptions and decrees are inventions of the legend. They don't appear in any historical records. The story paints a picture of a radiant and terrifying figure, something that isn't purely good or evil, but a being of immense power locked away from the world. The legend even gives this secret imprisonment a date, 1578, a time of massive religious turmoil. It was then, the story goes, that the Church decided the angel's influence was just too dangerous for the established order. A special vault was supposedly built, consecrated not to honor the angel, but to contain it forever. Now let's be crystal clear, there is absolutely no historical or archaeological evidence to back any of this up. The story of a chained angel beneath the Vatican exists entirely in the world of modern myth. But like all good myths, it makes you ask a question that pulls you in deeper. What could an angel have possibly done to deserve that? To understand the why behind this wild legend, we have to step outside the traditional Bible and into the forbidden texts, specifically the apocryphal Book of Enoch. This book, which was left out of most versions of the Bible by the early church, tells the story of a group of angels called the Watchers. According to this ancient text, the Watchers were sent to earth simply to observe humanity. But they did more than that. They felt compassion for the struggling human race, and they came down from the heavens to share divine secrets, metalworking, cosmetics, astronomy, and even the arts of war. They fell in love with human women, and their children became a race of giants known as the Nephilim. For sharing knowledge humanity wasn't ready for, the Watchers were condemned. They were branded as fallen angels, bound in eternal chains, and thrown into darkness to await their final judgment. This ancient controversial story is the fuel for the modern legend. The myth speculates that the Vatican's prisoner is one of these Watchers, or at least a similar type of angel. So its crime wasn't hatred, it was a radical, misguided compassion. The angel wasn't punished for wanting to destroy humanity, but for loving it too much, for empowering it in a way that threatened the divine plan. In this version of events, the Vatican isn't guarding against evil, but jailing a truth it can't afford to let out. The idea that the line between holy and forbidden knowledge is dangerously thin. The fear wasn't that the angel would burn the world, but that it would enlighten it so much that the Church would become obsolete. Every great conspiracy theory needs a cover-up, and this one is no different. The legend cleverly weaves real places and events into its narrative, suggesting the Vatican has been hiding the secret in plain sight for centuries. The myth claims that in 1578, a secret papal decree ordered a ritual known as the vinculus angelorum, or the binding of the angel, to be performed. This entirely fictional rite was supposedly created to forever strengthen the spiritual chains on the angel in its prison. Again, no historical record of any such ritual exists. It's a pure invention for the story. This is where the legend gets really clever, by twisting the meaning of famous Roman landmarks. Take the Basilica of St. Peter in chains. Officially, this church holds the chains said to have bound St. Peter before an angel miraculously set him free. But the legend says this is all misdirection. The myth suggests the real chains of importance are hidden deep underground, binding an angel instead of an apostle. The famous church becomes a symbolic smokescreen. Then there's the Castel Sant'Angelo, the castle of the Holy Angel. History tells us it was named after the Archangel Michael appeared and sheathed his sword, signaling the end of a deadly plague. But the legend flips this story on its head. It argues that the fortress, with its history as a papal prison and its secret corridor connecting to the Vatican, isn't a monument to a savior angel, but a guard tower for a captive one. Its name becomes a dark, ironic joke. In this telling, the Vatican isn't just hiding a prisoner, it's using its most sacred stories and public art as part of a massive, centuries-long disinformation campaign. So if a secret this huge exists, who keeps it? The legend points a finger at two of the Vatican's most mysterious groups, the Vatican Apostolic Archive and the Swiss Guard. The Vatican Apostolic Archive, which for years was known as the Secret Archive, is famously hard to get into. While the word secretum really just means private, referring to the Pope's personal files, that air of mystery has fueled endless speculation. The archives hold over 50 miles of shelves with documents stretching back centuries. Conspiracy theories claim that hidden among all that history are forbidden magical texts and detailed files on supernatural events, including the full story of the imprisoned angel. While scholars are slowly getting more access and the Vatican maintains there are no files on demons or aliens, the secrecy itself keeps the myth alive. If the archives hold the paper trail, the legend says the Swiss Guard are the physical guardians. We know them as the ceremonial protectors of the Pope in their colourful uniforms, but the lore claims their real job runs much deeper. The theory suggests a secret group within the Guard is responsible for protecting the hidden entrances to the angel's vault. In this story, they aren't just soldiers, they're wardens, trained in ancient rites and sworn to a level of secrecy that overrides everything else. This part of the legend, while totally unproven, turns these familiar Vatican institutions into parts of a shadowy machine. The quiet archivist becomes a keeper of forbidden knowledge, and the stoic guard becomes the jailer of a divine being. So where does that leave us? On one hand, you have the official history, the chains of St. Peter, a story of miraculous freedom, the statue of Archangel Michael, a symbol of salvation, the Vatican archives, a massive library of human history. And on the other hand, you have the legend. A modern myth, born from ancient forbidden texts and our own fascination with secrets. It tells of an angel, chained not for evil, but for a dangerous love of humanity. It speaks of a cover-up built into the architecture of Rome itself, and a secret protected by the Church's most loyal followers. There is no credible evidence that an actual angel is locked up beneath the Vatican, but the fact that this story won't go away tells us something interesting. It speaks to our suspicion that powerful institutions are hiding things from us, and it taps into our curiosity about the true nature of good and evil, and the secrets that might be hiding at the very heart of faith. The story of the chained angel is a powerful metaphor for all the truths we suspect are buried just out of sight. It might be fiction, but it leaves you with one last nagging question. If you had the key to that vault, would you turn it? What secrets, if any, do you think are really hidden inside the Vatican? It's a chilling thought, right? That something could be locked away not because it's evil, but because its truth is too powerful to be free. What do you think? Is this just a creative modern myth, or could there be a tiny grain of truth somewhere in these stories? Let me know your theories down in the comments. And if you enjoy digging into hidden lore like this, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more mysteries.